Hello, everybody. What is going on? Thank you for tuning in today. Fun speculation. Oh, we got a lot of stuff to talk about still. We're still on the heels of yesterday's big news with the Xbox restructure, Xbox reset, the hammer that fell, and also PlayStation ended their silence finally. They thought it was safe. Xbox had the negative news yesterday, so like let's just go ahead and crawl out from under this rock. Let's go crawl out from the hole that we're in. It's been 5 days, 6 days, whatever it's been since we announced that we're ending physical gaming, physical media on PlayStation. And I'm sure everybody has got their attention focused elsewhere. The games media, everybody's been trying to run this interference for us and stuff. So like it's gotta be safe now. We're gonna go ahead and talk about this fight stick that we've been wanting to put out there on Twitter and talk about it a little bit more. It'll be a good time and place. Nope. That didn't work out how they thought it would. That's for damn sure. Thanks to the games media and the industry for softening the blow for everybody with their outrageous deliberations and reports on considerations and everything about the Xbox layoffs, and they got everybody's expectations way out of check there, and didn't actually turn out how they thought it would. Now, as there was actually no studios being closed, no games being canceled that had been announced, and yeah, it makes PlayStation look a little bad when they're trying to save these studios and give them a second chance at life beyond Xbox, while PlayStation just goes and decides to close all the ones that they want to move on from due to their poor business management decisions as well. So while you can say the moves are even or Xbox has more layoffs and all this other kind of stuff, you can look at it as like, why is the coverage so uneven? Why is it so unbalanced? Why is there so much negativity and hate posting and stuff towards Xbox all the time? Was been so much conversation on the Xbox tax for so long, and it's become more clear than ever before over the last couple weeks. Starting with right after the summer showcase when they announced that Gears and Clockwork Revolution were going to be made exclusive, and there will be future exclusives again. While games media and gamers on PlayStation are upset about that because they want Xbox games, they've been proven to this last year and a half or so that they actually love PlayStation Xbox games. It helps fulfill their pipeline that their own first party has had a lack thereof. Well, Xbox is shifting in a new direction, one that the PlayStation gamers don't like. It's one the games medias don't like. Xbox don't care about their feelings. They're just trying to come out there and be competitive and aggressive again, despite the naysayers, despite the hate, despite the tax, despite all that bullshit that's out there. And I'm here to call out the hypocrisy, and the double standards. Been on a mission, to call out the bullshit. All you fucking hypocrites out there, you people that always act all altruistic and say how bad Xbox is while glossing over the mismanagement and decisions that PlayStation's been having this entire generation, not giving their studios second chances at life, instead just go ahead and closing them down on a whim because their own decisions of mismanaging their studios, games not selling, all these other kind of things didn't pan out for them either. Now, did it? So, while one platform always gets the hate, the other one just loved, except for this PlayStation ending physical media on their devices. And wow, I got actually a cool email. The same person that sends me the Xbox showcase list every year, that I get to post, sent me this leaked image of the prototype PS6. I can't wait to share it with you guys here in a little while. It's absolutely insane, and I understand now their thinking and why they're getting rid of physical media and the PlayStation disc. I understand it. They're giving their gamers what they actually want. They're giving and this is, you can call it the game industry special edition apparently, because I the games media industry special edition, I should say, is because it's made, I think, especially for them. Absolutely is. Uh, Shout out to JMO Money, says Clover posted a Bloomberg article about Xbox single player exclusives. The biggest games will be exclusive. Yeah, I mean they've been telling us that. I did see it. I clicked on it. Bloomberg's behind a paywall, so I ain't able to read it. And I gotta also call out Bloomberg as for in a weird twist. Like I've been saying the last week or so, been more neutral on this than I was expecting. I'm not saying it's all neutral. I don't think they've given the same amount of attention to the PlayStation stuff. However, they haven't been as scathing as a lot of the random journalists and games media that's out there. Instead, they're talking about the decision making behind the restructure and the reset and all of that, and the fact that they're trying to do things differently, which is the reality of the situation and the reality of what has been posted by Asha Sharma and Xbox leadership as well. I want to get into this PlayStation post though real quick because this thing was crazy. Now people have just been waiting on pins and needles, apparently waiting for them to post. They thought, like I said, they thought it was going to be safe. They thought it was going to be a good time to go ahead and come out of the closet and say, "Hey, we're back. Everybody's not upset anymore at us, are you? You're not upset anymore at us, are you? Play Xbox. They're doing all the layoffs and stuff. You guys are cool now." Mm, didn't work out for him. Didn't work out for him. Look at this post. Now this post is they're marketing this fight stick. And wow, it's at 56,000 comments already. 56. Maybe we should go through and read some of them. Because they actually managed to piss off their own fan base with this, and I'm actually surprised. Oh, I don't want to reply. No, I don't want to reply. I'm gonna click on it. I'm gonna read some comments. Shout out to Gaz. This is fine. I think it's great. Look at this fight stick, everybody. Um, Clobrel. I know your PR strategy for over 20 years has been to sit things out and ignore noise, but something tells me that won't work this time. No, it's not working. It ain't working for him this time. Absolutely not. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, physical games are massive W. Please continue to produce. Nobody's talking about the fight stick. Nobody gives a shit. Please continue to produce physical discs for PlayStation to offer some kind of solution or offer some kind of solution for fans of physical PS game collections. After all the silences of what you post, they coming for you. Oof. We want disc. I see you. Is it physical or digital? Colt Eastwood says I bought a PS5 disc edition. Console day one in 2020. That'll be my last PlayStation. Asa or Asa says, please find a way to make. I'm used to saying Asha now, so it turned Asa into Asa. Please find a way to make this a digital download. I do not like touching things. This controller is physical. Physical games or fuck you. Is there a digital version? Did someone order a digital pizza? Domino says no disc, no buy. Roses are red, violets are blue. Not buying digital, Sony. Fuck you. Man, do my physical games scare you? Look at that collection. Play has limits. Man, greed has no. This is, I mean, fuck Sony made out of physical games. This is crazy. I mean, when have we seen this much hate towards PlayStation? I mean, is this going to come to a head at some point? Are they going to end up having to respond, or are they just going to let it go? How much are they going to let things burn? Or will people move on? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here because usually when PlayStation has bad news, they like people gloss it over and accept it like all the other shit they've been doing this generation. However, this one stings to them. I mean, and maybe it's because they've been sold a bill of lies for over a generation about the merits and the uh, feelings that PlayStation has about physical media. About, hey, that's just the way to do things. You know, it's important. Somebody says address the elephant in the room. Yeah. I mean, they're getting crucified. I mean, utterly crucified. This is insanity how much people are going after them. We never see it. I mean, it's just post after no again, nobody is anybody even talking about the fight stick? This is absolutely crazy. Now, as crazy as it is, I mean, we have an answer, I think. We actually have I think we have the answer in this leaked PS6 prototype that I was privy to. Um, I've been hearing they've been working on this for a while, but I didn't really believe it because it just seemed a little too crazy. But yeah, apparently, like this is what they've been working on, and they were trying to actually give the gamers what they actually do want instead of physical games. So they had to make a compromise here because there's only so much space in the box, apparently. So they knew that okay, they know what they like. And as you guys have been hearing me say, they like one thing specifically and they decided to make it happen. So here is the leaked image of the PS6 prototype that came out, and I was actually shocked to see this, guys. So let me know what your thoughts are. We'll kind of dive deep into this PS6 and kind of take a look at it. All right, so here it is. Straight from the offices of Sony. Um, Apparently they got rid of the disk drive in the PS6 because they wanted to put this hole in there. And I was like, what is this? You know, what is this hole? What is this hole doing there in the front of it? You got this, you got the whole, concept and stuff at PC back there where they've been, engineering this thing. So I was trying to look at it and figure out exactly what is this thing. And, at first I was like, it's pretty big, you know. So I mean, I'm guessing it's pretty beefy, and it's gonna be, making use of the, it's more like PC and stuff. So I was like, what is that hole? Um, well, so I zoomed in the PS6 prototype. Let's see, what does it say again? Integrated male masturbator port, haptic sync technology. I was like, oh, I get it. The PlayStation gamers, the number one the thing they love is getting fucked by PlayStation. Right? Like that's what they love. Like this is got to be the games media edition, maybe special edition. Maybe they were given free ones of this at their last showcase at their state of play. We got. I was trying to look at this thing closer, and it just gets crazier. You got you know, there's no disk drive. Obviously, there's a dick drive. There's a disk drive. That's what I heard they're calling it internally. Is a disk drive. So they're replacing the disk drive with a disk drive. Uh, the power button, obviously, you got your USB ports, USB C, which is great, and then there's an eject button. What is that on it? What is that on the eject button? Oh, okay, I get it. It's, I guess, to release you. Maybe the haptic sync technology is pretty strong. I wonder if you can blow in it. I wonder if you can blow in this thing. I would love to see the Japanese Elton John that they had do the the DualSense ad, or maybe they can give this to Keeley. You know how he played with the PlayStation controller for the first time, he got his hands on it. They can give this to him and see what he does with it, as well. If you guys remember those, maybe Cerny will dissect it and explain it, on a video. Um, yeah, PS6 prototype, integrated male masturbator port, haptic sync technology. This is absolutely crazy. They know that they like getting fucked so much that we're like, we only got room for one kind of drive. We're gonna put a disk drive in this instead of a disk drive. So that's it. That's the PS6 prototype. Absolutely crazy. Um, I've heard that there is a prototype for a female version of this. Um, and it just operates a little bit differently, looks a little bit differently. And I guess you could use your imagination why. Maybe that one is going to be the handheld. Maybe that one's going to be the handheld PlayStation. They may be bringing back the PS toy, or was it the iToy? Something like that is what it was called. I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. I mean, on this PS6 prototype. They just want to fuck you every which way. Carlton, they have different sizes apparently. That's interchangeable because like you're gonna have to take this out to clean it. Apparently, they give you a apparently their ideas are in the box. They're gonna have some what they're calling haptic lube, and as well as some cleaning spray. So I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, like apparently have different sizes, and they're gonna sell those at different costs, right? Um, you're gonna have your Ultimate Edition, which is for the bigger gamers out there. You know, crazy, crazy guys. I don't know how people are gonna respond to this. Well, my wife just put a poll in the chat. And I'm really curious what this poll says. Okay, here it goes. PS6 prototype day one buy? Yes, no, yes in a smaller size, or yes in a bigger size. Good options. Good options. The Magnum version for you, Woodpit? Fair enough. Congratulations. Congratulations. I heard it's $100 more though. So you win some, you lose some. you know, may have to pay a little bit extra, but like at the end of the day, it's a trade-off you'd probably want to accept. You know what I mean? So congratulations on that, sir. Um, but yeah, that's where you're gonna put your dicks. I mean, not disc. Anyway, craziness out there. Yeah, they're gonna love it. I mean, they're gonna love this thing. You guys, I mean, they want to act all like, hey, physical games or everything. Wait till they see this fucking baby. Their dreams will have fucking come true. You mean like I get fucked by the company in not only a literal sense, but a uh business sense as well? I get consumer fucked and I get literally fucked. This is like the best of both worlds. I mean, they can actually experience the feeling that they are giving to you on a day in day basis, right? Just wait till the games that come out that interact with this thing. Pair that with the PSVR 3, it's a fucking match made in heaven. It's a match made in heaven. I mean, they're going to have a Stellar Blade exclusive edition of this thing. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Just tell me you don't want to buy that shit day one. Hell yeah. PS6, reach your limit. Tug Station 6, where your dreams come true. Oh shit. Nintendo also offered a version. Was it to go with all their hentai games? I'm glad I don't have the money to support both consoles. Yeah, the PSVR 3 on this thing is going to be nuts. I mean, I heard it's going to have lots of strap-on accessories and stuff. Haptic, going to have haptic feelings all over. I wonder how much you guys think that's going to be. If that's what it looks like, how much you think it is? I mean, I can imagine. Maybe $1,100, $1,200. Oh, 100% Belzy. Yeah, that's. I mean, you look through the storefront on Nintendo, it's crazy. It is crazy. 5K, 699. Is that for real, Brett? It says, did you know that for Apollo 11 they had to change the names of the catheter devices because everyone chose the large, so they renamed the sizes like ridiculous, humongous, and insane. What's like the so the middle ground is like humongous? I'd accept that. I'd accept that. They have to do that so astronauts would be encouraged to pick the correct size so there would be no leak. Interesting. That's interesting. Okay, it says rumor is Spencer's will have a 69-day exclusive launch of it before it goes everywhere. You can find it towards the back of the store. Yeah, Spencer's Gifts. Great place. Back wall is where you're gonna find the PS6 before anybody else for 69 days. 69 days, everybody. Be absolutely nuts. Nuts. PS6 prototype day one buy. 69% of you said no, so I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna end it there because we stopped at 69% of you said no. Yeah, if you were, I man, if I'm choosing the size of a catheter, I'm choosing the smallest. I'm saying fuck it, I'm gonna leak. Everybody else can deal with this with this. I'm leaking all over the place. I'm choosing the smallest thing they got. They got if they got a size called Pipsqueak, I'll go with that. I ain't fucking going for the biggest catheter. What are we trying to accomplish here? It was more of an apparatus to catch urine, Brett says. Well, it's like a catheter is like goes inside. Angel hair pasta size. Yeah, how about like linguine? Is linguine elongated? Wide? Thin spaghetti. I'll go with thin spaghetti. You haven't seen it yet, but it's a no. You didn't see it? Here it is, bro. Here you go. So they replaced the physical disk drive with the physical disk drive. Um, it does have haptic sync technology. I'm really curious how that works. It does have an eject button if you can't escape. the clutches. Um, so that's a safety concern, obviously. I mean, it looks strong. I mean, it looks pretty powerful. How many teraflops is this? You guys think? Do you think it has art? Do you think it has like um pisser technology in this? Like pisser 3 or 4, whatever they're going to be on, mixed with the haptics? I mean, I'm sure there's a warning in the box that says don't get stuck. I do like the color scheme of it. Kind of like you're fucking an Oreo. I mean, I am happy about the eject button for real. I mean, physical for life, right? It's got its pulsing feature. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, Stellar Blade 2. Oh my god, this game feels so real. Oh shit. Oh fuck, it's gonna fall off the table. What the hell? Oh, it's gonna fall. Oh god. Oh god, is there a clamp for this thing? Oh shit. Oh my god. Uh, hey, babe, will you pass me the PS loop? The haptics are fucking crazy in this shit. Ah! 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 Oh, God of War Lafe? Oh, ooh, I'm done. What happened? Oh my God. We just love getting fucked, guys. That's what we say all the time. What they really want. Definitely needs clamping. You just passed Domino's guy delivering physical pizzas, not the digital pizzas. Did y'all see the post where they said they delivered like 175 million pizzas since PlayStation's last post? Domino's is like social media team, the Domino's UK team is absolutely crazy. They crack me up. Now, like some of them do it better than others. I saw like others try to like have these posts and they don't really hit, but Domino's always hit. You'll have nightmares tonight? Thanks, no problem. No problem. How you guys feeling today? Like PlayStation's still shit in the bed. People are pissed off and you know carrying torches for them. You got Xbox just did the layoffs. Finally announced what is going on there, so we have a clearer picture of the future of Xbox. Unfortunately, a lot of people were laid off. Shout out to all of them. Hope you find jobs. Um, hope hope they land on their feet. You know, I saw some angry posts from some of them, rightfully so. No, I haven't posted that on Twitter. Um, I'll do it right now. Hold on, I'll do it right now. Let's see. breaking news. PS6 prototype leaked. They know how much you want, how much PS gamers love getting fucked. So they are replacing the disk drive with a dick drive. There we go. Postmade. Share out your heart's content. I'm sure that won't get any backlash. No, that won't get any backlash at all. People won't call me a Xbot or a fanboy for that one. Which games media people do you think is going to receive this first? Tequili, like Colin Moriarty, Greg Miller, maybe Grubb will get one sent to him. Paul Tassi, Christopher Dring, you know. Maybe they'll like have the signature from Cerny on the side with like a picture of his face. I'm sure they would love that. A little visual to go along with it. Layouts don't affect you, Portal, so you don't care about it. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the people involved. Like, I don't like. Here's the thing: it sucks when it's PlayStation that does it. It sucks when Xbox does it. It sucks equally across the board for the people affected. However, as a gamer, as a consumer in this situation, I personally lose nothing except the possible potential of certain games going to Game Pass, but that's unclear, right? We don't know what's going to happen there. Am I still going to buy State of Decay 3 if it's not? Absolutely. We don't know who the buyer is for those studios or what the deals are going to make are. So it's up in the air there. I think ultimately, as a gamer, when I look at it from a gamer perspective, it looks like Xbox is just transitioning into a new direction, putting more emphasis on different things. We didn't really lose anything there as gamers. The studios still get to live on, retain their culture, have new possibilities for their future, have a chance at more hits and success, all that kind of stuff. So therefore, I'm like, hey, cool, more games to still look forward to. And them reemphasizing effort into the bigger franchises kind of gives me hope that we won't be waiting, 20 years for some games that we've been looking forward to. And we'll see what they do. I mean, there's still questions to ask, like how are they going to really push the Helix with it being so expensive? So if that's not the case, if it's not going to be as expensive as we think, what changes are they making to it to make that possible? Yeah, what changes are there going to be to the Helix? And it looks like there are going to be changes to it. Changing the model of it, probably, so they can allow for a bigger subsidy than they maybe had originally allocated for. Maybe less RAM. Maybe trying to look at different ways of utilizing technology in the device to have less necessity on raw horsepower. I don't know all the ins and outs of how this is going to be made, what the Helix is going to end up looking like, but those are going to be the questions I'm really curious about going forward now. Because if they are re-emphasizing this, making more exclusives, putting every emphasis back on hardware, all this other kind of stuff, then questions come along with that about the hardware that we're going to have and the options that we're going to get, right? And I think PlayStation gamers can be asking those same questions too. When we have a device out there like the Steam Machine that's literally a little weak ass piece of shit out there for $1,049, and everybody's super like, hey, yeah, I'm going to buy this thing from the Steam community. Like, I don't think console gamers are going to have that same level of happiness and excitement for weak ass $1,000 consoles, especially ones without disk drives. So, does Xbox utilize this negative PlayStation energy right now, try and do a 180 and flip that script like PlayStation did 13 years ago. If they do so, they got to have some muscle behind it. They got to actually put the disk drive on the box, so that way it's there's enough people out there that have disk drive as opposed to just having it as an option, which I think having as an option is super important. First off, just to be able to buy an add-on so that way you can access all your backwards compatibility games, take advantage of whatever that disc to digital thing they may be working on, all that kind of stuff. I think that's like a given that they need. But if they really want to push into it and really want to emphasize that this is going to be a big thing and we're really supporting physical, then you put a physical drive in the box. So that way, the adoption rate of physical gamers on Xbox is very high. And that gives publishers more reason to release digital games if PlayStation is not doing so themselves. But that comes at a cost. Putting a disc drive in a box now, how much is that going to cost them? And all the other things that go along with it. So, if we want things cheaper, more streamlined, the box to be as cheap as possible, but they're really trying to take advantage of this whole negative PlayStation thing to get a whole PR win. How do they handle that? That would be interesting to see. Personally, I think they're probably just going to end up going the whole digital route also, because I think they're going to see that PlayStation fell on the sword for them and that they're going to just ride that wave because ultimately that's what they wanted to do, I believe, for a long time. But PR marketing wise, it's the easy win if they decide to flip the script on it now. And I think that it's a win for gamers if they do as well. And you have a dedicated base, regardless of how big it is. There's a lot of people that just love physical gaming and they don't want Nintendo to be the only option for that. And they would, because of that, they would choose to buy an Xbox just because they know they would be able to buy physical games. So there is a chance to grow your user base substantially in some way if you can manage to get a box out there that is somewhat of a technology leap power wise, that is somewhat obtainable affordability wise, that has a built-in disk drive. That would be a massive win. But can they do it in today's world with the costs the way they are? I don't know. But I am interested what the discussions are at Xbox right now, and I would be really curious to know if that's something they're even looking at. Like, hey, what is the possibility of us trying to take advantage of this opportunity here? And that would be a different mentality really than Xbox has had in the past, taking advantage of these kind of things. That's a very PlayStation move, you know. But PlayStation is they have the dominance, they have the market share, they have they've had the goodwill and all that other kind of stuff. And what happens, after a certain amount of level of dominance and success, these companies get cocky, get greedy, and then they end up fucking everybody. It's happened numerous times in this industry. So it's gonna. That's my main thing is like with this new direction for Xbox is like where are we going here with hardware, right? I've seen Plume making multiple posts about this, and him and me like are on the same mindset with some of this stuff about like how are you going to go about attracting these gamers if your hardware is going to be expensive, right? Because you want to be affordable.
Hashtag let PlayStation burn. That's how I'm feeling, mob.
Right on Mac 22TH54 with the $2. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. And I don't like here's the thing. I don't hate PlayStation. Like I want PlayStation to succeed. I want Nintendo to succeed. I want Xbox to succeed. But I gotta try and call out that they're not on an even playing field when it comes to coverage. The BS bullshit that people point towards Xbox's decisions and ignore PlayStation's, it's got to be called out.
Physical games, something you can touch and feel. This slogan cool? Mini disc emoji.
Physical games, yeah, something you can touch and feel. There we go. Let's go, Xbox. Xbox says, you want something you can touch and feel, something you can hold, something you can share with your loved one, something you can hand to somebody. Something you can touch and feel. Let's go. Physical. Let's get. How about you have a let's get physical, physical, and you have that like as the mantra for the Xbox Helix. I mean, how much of a change internally is the Helix going for right now? I appreciate the 5, Rain. You rock. What's up, Shane? How's it going, dude? Hey, Mav, good show. Appreciate you being here, bro. Shout out to Black John here hanging out. Dan Lazaro's here hanging out. Says, I want PlayStation to die. I want all of them to live on and succeed. I think it's better all of us for all of us as gamers. But I'm sick of these games media and fans on social media trying to act like they're not all just businesses trying to earn our money and trying to be competitive. And they have different decisions and some of them don't work out as good as the others. They all make bets on different things, and they all end up costing jobs, studio closures, all these other kind of things. Yet when one company does it, it barely gets mentioned or gets glossed over as an industry problem. As well, they tried that, it wasn't working. They're back to what we love. Yay, let's celebrate it. Meanwhile, like, hell, this was a bad thing that happened. Oh well. And then when Xbox is about to have a restructure reset, you have weeks of bullshit rumors being spread around about what a shit show things are behind the scenes, about how every studio is getting closed and all these other kind of things. And it finally comes out, and then even some are saying, "Oh, this is worse than I thought it was going to be." Man, they shut down zero studios, canceled zero games that were announced, and our impact as gamers is not really harmed with that decision. Now, as a business, there's a lot of people that were harmed as laid off, and that really sucks for all of them. And you gotta sympathize and call that out with any industry, with anything when large corporations have these resets and restructures and all that kind of stuff. It sucks, right? And we sympathize and we feel for them. But where was this same level of energy and hatred and stuff towards PlayStation when they've done the same thing? They've since 2023 they've laid off probably between like 1,500 and 2,000 people, right? Now, they also had less developers than Xbox did through that same time span because of the acquisitions Xbox made. And they've been the industry fucking leader. PlayStation has been the industry leader in those regards. So, if they're the industry leader, what was their fucking excuse for making those moves? Right? What was their excuses for making those moves? You want to go out there and say what a shit show Xbox is and all this stuff and how everything led up to this and how dare anybody support the decisions they made in the past and stuff. Well, where were these motherfuckers condemning every damn thing that PlayStation did that led to the same shit at PlayStation? It's like the hypocrisy is absolutely astronomical. And people are like, "Oh, you're just deflecting to PlayStation. You're just deflecting to PlayStation." I'm calling out the hypocrisy and the bullshit because I witnessed PlayStation do this, and this, and this. Have way more studio closures than Xbox has had this generation. Had at least the same amount of game cancellations. And you're out there being like, hey, the industry's biggest problem is Xbox still. Well, it sucks that all this happens, but you got to keep the same energy across the fucking board. Even if it's the more popular brand that you love. Yeah, but again, like they just like getting fucked. They don't like care. You even see articles from the same games media glossing over the whole physical thing that have been trying to run interference, and they're making posts like, "Do people even buy digital anymore? Why PlayStation leaving digital makes sense and shit like." While the fucking fan base is irate. Yeah, meanwhile, these same industry people are making articles like 11 games are leaving Game Pass. 11 games being removed from Game Pass. Motherfucker, there's 12 leaving PlayStation Plus this month. There's 12 leaving PlayStation Plus this month. There's 11 on Xbox and 12 on PlayStation Plus. That happens every fucking month. It's part of a subscription service. That's just the way it is. It's not news. That's not news. That's just the subscription service being what it is. Yet you want to act like it's news or somehow part of this whole situation that Xbox games are being removed from Game Pass. But where's your fucking articles about the amount of games leaving PlayStation Plus? And you can't ever tell me at all that negativity doesn't drive the number one engagement factor towards negativity towards the Xbox doesn't drive the number one engagement factor for all these publications when they are making constant posts. GameSpot does it. Insider Gaming did it today about Game Pass games leaving the service, making it seem like it's some kind of trouble thing, and never making any kind of article or post about PlayStation Plus games leaving the service. That's what a subscription service is, you dumbasses. Why do you treat one differently than the other? It's because the negativity towards Xbox sells for you. It's what drives your money. It's what drives your engagement. It's what you think people want to see, and they can say like, "Oh yeah, this is bullshit. Xbox is in trouble. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is this. Xbox has had layoffs. Now they're removing games from Game Pass. Oh my gosh." Meanwhile, PlayStation just announced one of the biggest things in gaming history with disc going away, pretty much announcing the death of it on next gen hardware. And there's like, why buy? Is it even a big deal? The mainstream media seems to think so. The gamers seem to think so. Your own fans seem to think so. You can't even announce a flight stick without getting 56,000 comments about how much they hate you right now for what you're doing to them. Because your platform that you've built, your lead that you've garnered over the last 13 years, they've realized it was built on a foundation of fucking lies and PR and marketing. They finally see through it. This has finally like unveiled the cloak. They were trying to build it up so big that at the end of the day, they can rip the rug out from under you and you're laying down there trapped in your fucking cage and you're just getting fucked. But don't worry, they got a console for you and it's got a nice little dick port in it because that's what you love. So I want PlayStation to succeed. I like whatever they do, like, you know, they're trying to compete their business. But if the coverage is never the same, the opportunity is never going to be the same. People got to flip. They got to flip the script. I don't know what it takes. Maybe it takes the sponsorship money from Sony going away to all this games media because they spew the BS and just spew out the same PR marketing shit and then always believe the twist and stuff that they spin to them and just like, oh yeah, this is makes sense. This is the right way to do things. Oh, this is a great, yeah, PlayStation, blah 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 blah. Blah. Oh, and but yeah, Xbox is horrible. Xbox is bad. Xbox is doing this. What do you expect the people to think if that's all you ever fucking write? Games industries media has done such a horrible job covering this industry, and I'm literally sick of like the bullshit that they just permeate throughout the space. It is completely asinine. I hope all of those fucking websites that are constantly doing this shit get shut down. They're the ones that deserve all the fucking layoffs. They're the ones that deserve to get shuttered. They're the ones that deserve to get closed down. They're the ones that deserve to be having to look for real fucking jobs. It's a shame that they consider themselves non-biased and stuff, and they're no better than the fucking people like me that are just fucking spewing our opinions and our thoughts. Same shit, except they do it on a fucking written word on a website. Absolutely asinine. Um, I apparently, guys, they have released from the insider guy that I know that sends me all the lists and stuff for the showcases, sent me this PS6 prototype, sent me actually the tutorial video they have um as well. So I'm gonna get to that. Let's see here. See if I can't bring it up. I didn't know that they already were this far advanced into making this stuff, but apparently so. Yeah, uh, there's a tutorial on how it's gonna work. Interesting. It's very interesting. It does seem to have a little bit of that. I can see the haptics working. You got a little bit of pulse feedback going on there. What do you think he's thinking about how much he hates Xbox? Yeah, you can really get a sense of the power behind this thing. How many teraflops is that, you think, guys? This is insane. This PS6 is going to be something else, guys. Yeah, nice jammas. Yeah, those are great. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there's the access there. What kind of access those pajamas have? I am wondering what magical thing is floating behind them. Is that like a bunny tail? Is that just movement? Yeah, it's movement. Okay, I got it. Wow. I mean, do you think that this is two player? Is there a port on is there a port on the back? You, is there a port on the back? I mean, could you imagine playing a two-player game? Absolutely crazy. Those engineers at PlayStation is something else. Cerny's got to be proud. Cerny's really got to be fucking proud of what he came up with now. They're not even going to be asking for disk drive when they learn about the disk drive. They're not. They're going to say, no, we don't even want it optional. We need this thing. We need this thing in our fucking PS6, and every device should have it. It's got a drain on the back. Drain. That might be useful. And no need for two player. It's a single player. But like, like whatever happened to couch co-op? Whatever happened to couch co-op? Can you imagine playing a fighting game with that thing? Holy shit. I wonder what a Souls like would do to you. Fuck me. When you pick the difficulty options, are you going to pick soft, halfway there, hard, rock hard? What happens when you finish a game? Lap co-op? Irony is it's a sad dad game. What do you think the player hours per day will be. Some will be like 5 minutes, but probably like the older you are, it'll probably go longer. A little bit differently than normal games where you have, younger gamers like in their 20s have a lot more free time to play. They're probably going to be done with these games a lot quicker, and the older gamers are probably going to be able to get more playtime. That's what I would imagine. It's going to kind of reverse. They know we're getting old now. They know this generation is getting old. It's crazy, guys. I am curious how much do you guys think, like you said 5K earlier. I mean, somebody said 699. About 69.69. 69 with $696.96. Play Play now has limits. Viagra included in PS Plus. You hear Sony will start charging people child support each month. That would surprise me. What if that was the only way that games could be made? we 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 have to go through the creation process. We have to conceive these games. Everybody. Well, what game's gonna show up in the store now? Oh, it looks like me. It has my eyes. Earn points by trading deposits in for money. And then if you see a bunch of games that in the genres you don't like, somebody else has been using your PlayStation. Um, Man, the hate that they've been getting though is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I do wonder, like, the setup the controller has a whole new meaning. Can you imagine this tutorial process on the screen for that? We need to calibrate. We need to calibrate your PS6. Yeah, it's when's the last time you guys have you ever? I want to know in the chat. Have y'all ever seen this much unified hate towards PlayStation from the PlayStation community? Have you ever seen this level of backlash? I mean, they literally had Concord come out and ripped away from them after 2 weeks, and their whole, you know, pipeline of all the game cancellations, all that shit was just utterly destroyed, right? And they were like, "It's okay, we got third party games," you know. Like you really had this level of just like acceptance from PlayStation gamers, like no matter what they did. Spider-Man points out the PS3 when the PS3 price was announced. Yeah, there was a level of hate, but I still don't think it was this bad. You mean when they told you to get a second job? I mean, when they told you to get a second, I remember there was a lot of criticism and hate at that time. And it was like $6.99, I think, at launch, something like that. and then they told you to get a second job to pay for it. I remember there was a level of hate. The game industry actually gave it to them then too. Xbox 360 was much cheaper. They had a lot of games, you know, and PlayStation was struggling at that time. And then they ended up rebounding because it ended up becoming the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market. But it's absolutely crazy. Hey, Mike, we were talking quite a bit about the layoffs earlier. We talked about that yesterday too. I did a whole stream yesterday. I don't know if you were here, but I mean the whole stream we were talking about the layoffs. I've been talking about the layoffs leading up to it for a couple weeks ever since the Asha Sharma's post. But I think ultimately this PlayStation news is bigger news. Do you not agree that PlayStation deciding to end physical gaming is not bigger news and worthy of discussion as well? I mean, they're the industry leader. They always get glossed over with these things, but this is the first time I've seen the fan base actually stand up. But yeah, we talked a lot about the layoffs. We're talking about Helix, what this means for Helix. We're talking about yesterday the being glad that the studios were saved and that the and it sucks for all the people involved. 1,600 people, you know, and I've been calling out the hypocrisy from all of the PlayStation guys that have not said any damn thing about a lot of the PlayStation stuff this generation, but yet they want to act like Xbox is the only ones that have been making changes and doing layoffs and stuff like that. And in a sense, I think it's important to call out the hypocrisy here. It's the biggest layoff, and that's false, Mike. False, false. Go look up Embracer Group. Go look up Embracer Group, bro. I understand that a lot of you are like that come here just to try and debate and stuff. I only talk about PlayStation with bad news. Oh fuck, man. There's literally Xbox guys that still hate me because I criticized Xbox for studio closures in the past. I mean, when they announced the shutting of Arcane Austin and Tango GameWorks, I was like, they weren't in the same situation they are today. Everything was all peachy cream, everything was great. Still having great profits and great numbers on the financials. Things are still growing, all that stuff, and then they laid those studios off and announced the shutting down, which they ended up saving Tango after the fact. But yeah, I was like, this is bullshit. Like, you don't just acquire those studios and then shut them down like that soon after acquiring them after things were going so well. Um, yeah, they laid off like 50% of id. Sucks. They just released Doom DLC. They had I think id's going to build back up though because they have just finished pretty much working on all the Doom content, right? So they'll probably get another project greenlit and they'll probably end up hiring a little bit for that project. We've seen that numerous times before in the past, um, from several studios across the industry. And my point, Mike, is like we're all talking about this, and it is a big deal, and we've been talking about it. The industry was writing a hate campaign for weeks about Xbox. The media was running a hate campaign for weeks about Xbox leading up to this, talking about all the studios that were going to close and all that stuff. Then there was no studio closures. They managed to actually salvage and save them. We had massive amount of layoffs, which sucks. but they're also going to have growth again as well with the restructure, with the reset. So after this year, I would imagine the shape is going to take place, and you're going to see a lot of changes with how their business operates. The thing I keep calling out is all these guys out there and the hypocrisy of it. They make it seem like this is a one-off problem. They've been glossing over the PlayStation stuff as an industry thing, and you have PlayStation studios that were literally shuttered without any chance to continue. You have all the culture of those studios gone. All the kinds of possibilities for those studios just gone. You have over the last 3 years, you have between 1,500 and 2,000 layoffs at PlayStation as well, which had a smaller amount of people there in the first place. After the ABK acquisition, Xbox is up to over 20,000 total, 20 to 23. They're getting between all of them now. They're probably like closer to like 16 or something after the last couple years. PlayStation's still at like it's around probably like 12 something now after the last couple years of layoffs as well. Um, so yeah, it's big. It's big news when all of that happens. It's big news when all of it happens. Hmm. This is interesting. So just days after PlayStation announced that all the new games will be digital only starting in 2028, Sony president and CEO Hiroki Totoki sold 225,000 Sony shares. According to a recent SEC filing, Totoki sold the shares on July 3rd for an estimated $4.73 million. Yeah. We talked about that yesterday too, bro, because that was news yesterday. There's a lot of layoffs across a lot of the studios. Obsidian was hit with some layoffs. It lost half of their studios or half of their developers roughly. You had a lot of from the like infrastructure teams at Xbox. A lot of people are affected. I'm not gonna like single out one studio that lost a bunch of staff and just say like, oh, like what was me just specifically for them. I'm glad they're still here making fucking games, bro. You know what you would have appreciated probably as a PlayStation guy if Blue Point had lost half of its developers instead of being shut down. But they never even got a fucking opportunity. I should be Dave. I should be Dave. I mean, I know that like you guys don't like when like you call it a deflection and stuff and all that kind of stuff, right? This is evening the fucking scales, bro. I'm doing my job to point out the hypocrisy out there, that this is no different really than all the other publishers. That's horrible. That's horrible that it happens. It fucking sucks. We talked about. I was on Boom Show. I was talking about how much it sucks. How shout out to all the developers that are affected. Sucks for them. I really feel bad for them. Hopefully they land on their feet. You know. But then you look at social media, you look at the games media, you look at all these things constantly, and they're treating this with way more attention, way more analysis, way more insight into what went wrong, onto how it's everybody's fault for buying into these things and all that kind of stuff, right? And I see all this, and you got to realize that none of this was done when PlayStation did the same shit. And that's what I got to call out. And I'm calling out the fucking hypocrisy, the double standards, that this is them trying to change and be a different company. Did I crucify Sony for making that decision? I know I said that they're just as bad. They're just as bad, bro. That's what I'm fucking saying, dude. You got to think. You got to think. The, Sony is not your fucking friend, bro. They are not your friend. They want to fuck you just like Xbox does. Everybody in the fucking gaming industry that is running one of these companies, and I said numerous fucking times, if you ever open your ears, that Nintendo is the worst. Nintendo fucks us more than anybody. And nobody cares. Nobody fucking cares. The games media just fucking loves eating that shit up. They love PlayStation. They will fucking eat up any of the bullshit they ever say. And it's worth pointing out that this one thing finally pulled the veil from over their fucking demonic faces, and they said, hey, we are here to fuck you too. Surprise! We're going all digital, baby. And they're like, what? Oh my god. Holy shit, they are bad. They are bad too. Oh my god, I thought they were the champions. I thought they were for us. It's worth fucking pointing out, bro. It's worth pointing out that they like to fuck you too. That all of these companies are doing it. And each one, guess what? They're a business. They're a business. They're trying to make money and thrive in the industry that they are in. They're trying to do things for the future. And that's what Xbox is doing here. And it's no different than PlayStation whiffling and waffling on their games as a service initiative, acquiring all those studios that they acquired for their decisions, their business models, their ideas that they had of what was going to be the future of PlayStation. Remember when they told you Concord was the fucking future? They told you it was going to be the biggest shit ever. And it flopped so bad they pulled it after 2 weeks, and then they closed a bunch of fucking studios. Jim Ryan left. New ownership comes in. We're changing things again. Here we go. You have massive layoffs. Bungie gets laid off as well. All that kind of shit. I'm not saying that PlayStation's any worse. It's just the same thing that nobody fucking talks about. That is the point of me bringing it up, because if they aren't talking about it, if they're ignoring it and they're acting like Xbox is the only fucking ones trying to run a fucking business and doing this kind of shit, I gotta call out the hypocrisy. I gotta fucking call out the hypocrisy. I've been covering the Xbox news, Mike. I'm sorry that you can't hear, bro. I'm sorry that you can't hear, that you haven't been here to listen to every single fucking word we've been covering, talking about the Xbox shit for weeks, dude. For fucking weeks we've been talking about this shit. We talked about it on stream yesterday. But this PlayStation news about them killing physical gaming is bigger right now. It is. It is. PlayStation tried to think, well, we can wait and make this. We're gonna make this post because the heat that Xbox is having right now, Hiroki Totoki fucking cashes out. They're gonna go ahead and make that post now because they think everything's gonna be. This is the right time. Xbox is down. Everybody's talking about how to shit show, and Xbox is a fucking disaster. We have the games media running interference for us, and we're gonna stay quiet for 5 fucking days. We're gonna stay quiet. They think they're gonna go out there and make a fucking post about a fight stick, and they're like, everything's okay now. You know, Xbox made their fucking announcement yesterday. The hammer finally fell. We have the fallout. Didn't go very well for them, did it? PlayStation gamers are not going to forget that, and they're going to keep asking, and that's what this fucking post is about. That's what this stream is about right now. And yes, we have also talked about the Xbox layoffs. So I'm sorry that you don't know that stuff, that we've been talking about this shit, but it is what it is. This is the first time Pony's called out Sony out. But guess what? It's too late because they've been butt fucking the gamers all gen. Now the gamers finally grew a pair. They finally have woken up to they're not their friends either. This is something where we're going to call it the bullshit regardless. These companies don't deserve to be treated any differently from one another when they're all making business moves and the casualties are the fucking people that work for them. They don't deserve to be treated any differently. And the amount of scathing hate that's been going on towards Xbox for this, while some of it's deserved, has not been reciprocated back to PlayStation doing the same shit. And that's hypocritical. The fallout from those things, Nate Dogg, is still being felt with PlayStation today. It's relevant. The ramifications of the business model that they also tried to push onto the gamers and the fallout of the game studios that happened because of that is still relevant today. Because it's still being felt. When did they close Blue Point down? It wasn't very long ago. Are you happy about the Sony stocks being up? Is that something you celebrate as a gamer, Mike? Are you a shareholder or are you a fucking gamer, bro? Like what are you? Is Sony's stock up 6% the past 5 days? Right on. Cool. Yay, are you celebrating that? Are you gonna stand with your brothers who are actually pissed off at them? Or are you just gonna go cash out your stocks? You gonna celebrate the companies fucking you and shareholders profiting off of that? Is that what you're about? Like, is that what you're about? Is that what you celebrate? It's like that's the same mentality as like, hey, they have more consoles sold, yay for them. How about you, motherfucker? Look at yourself. I swear, I got the console for you, man. Here you go. Here's a fucking example of how to use it, bro. This is what you want. Hey, get your 6%. Cash out. Get your 6%, man. It's worth it. Oh, baby. Yes. It's okay. 6% stocks. It's too strong. It's too strong. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh god, thanks. There's an eject button. Oh shit. Oh god, I'm about to cash out. I'm about to cash out my stocks. I'm gonna cash them out. Ah! Ugh. Oh my god. Weirdly, Mike, you don't think making a massive announcement, bro? Okay, imagine Asha Sharma, Mike, made a massive announcement that was a detriment to the consumers of Xbox, but was possibly positive to the shareholders. And then immediately after making that announcement, cashed out on a shit ton of fucking stocks. You don't think that would be fucking newsworthy? You don't think that would be newsworthy to you? You guys would be like, that would be fucking blasted everywhere. That would be like, oh my god, the fucking corruption, the greed. Oh my god, that would be fucking everywhere, dude. That's like corporate scandal type shit. And like, it's weird that you brought that up. I just saw it in the fucking post, bro. I'm as shocked as you are. I'm as shocked as you are. We have breaking news, everybody. That same leaker. I mean, I got to give props to them because they just keep sending me this shit. Um, it's the same source as Mag, same source. I can't say the name, but it's an industry insider. Sending me these DMs. Shout out to Mag. Um, we have exclusive information on the pre-order bonuses for the PS6. They are moving quickly, guys. All right, what is it? What does it got? Whoa, okay. This is nice. Maybe this will actually come in handy. What is this? PlayStation 6 disposable bags designed for hygiene and convenience. Look, comes with 50 bags, one size fits all. That is, I mean, very, dude, it is. You can't be mad at that, you know? I mean, could you at least have made one size fits all? And the free cleaning kit comes with a sponge on a stick, wipes, lotion, and spray cleaner. That is amazing. No one will use the cleaning kit. I hope they do. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, did this tip you over the edge, guys, of getting this thing? I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely fucking incredible. I mean, you got your 6% though. You know, maybe that's good enough for you. Our stocks are up 6%. We're getting fucked. It's okay. We're getting fucked. Our stocks are up 6%. Our stocks are up before our dicks. Our stocks are up. Stocks are up. I mean, we all have our priorities. You know what I mean? We can speak for the consumers and understand all these are companies or businesses and doing shit to try and better their business. You're right, and try and speak for the consumer and what we believe in, or we can just celebrate more console sales and 6% stocks and all that kind of stuff. We all have our priorities. You know what I mean? You choose yours. Um, very very interesting happenings going on in gaming. What do you guys? Speaking of id, because this is something I was going to continue on about anyway. Not talking about this because of that guy. With the 50% reduction at id, I was curious about what game might be like. I would imagine they're probably in the early stages of something with that move. Just got done with Doom Dark Ages, and they had just had the DLC that dropped. So what I mean, I would imagine with that move cutting them down in half, that their next game's got to be pretty early, right? Or maybe in the concept phase still, or in the pitch phase. I anticipate them working on something big, but they're a small team to begin with, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do come out with. Because like this whole idea of restoring to the bigger games, right? Now if you're Asha, and we went over her whole thing yesterday. the whole thing that she posted yesterday. We talked about all dissected it, right? We said that we're gonna find out more details on the layoffs there and exactly what was impacted. The 50% there at id stands out because like, oh, id, that they make big franchises, right? So that's interesting. So I'm curious, they must be at an early stage or maybe not even started their next game yet. And with the changes that she's making, because part of it is supposedly a lot of the coders were let go. A lot of the coders were laid off. Um, so are they being replaced with other engineers, or they're trying to work on like, more of a working together style thing? Is what it kind of seems like is what she was promoting. So I am curious. So will their next game be a Doom game? Because this last one didn't sell as well. You know, even on PlayStation. Will the next game be Quake? What is their next thing? I think they're gonna try and raise them back up to prominence, but it's gonna be an interesting ride. Shane says, Matt, would love your take on Matt Piscatello's thread on why Game Pass failed. Idle Sloth just posted, I agree with Matt. Besides the diehards, the mass market did not want to play a bunch of different games. Yeah, me and Pong were having those discussions before about Game Pass, about like, the adoption rate of like different kinds of gamers. And like me and him are grazers, and so we talk about like Game Pass is like made for us. You know what I mean? I like trying a bunch of different games and all these other kind of things, but like it's not going to be for people that only wanted to play Call of Duty or like whatever. And that's why the whole argument is like, why subscribe to Game Pass when I can just buy Call of Duty for 70? Well, nobody was ever forcing you to. You could fucking still buy Call of Duty if that's all you play, you know? But it was interesting having those conversations, and like Game Pass, it did not achieve what they thought it was going to. Now, we can look at it from numerous ways. The price hike seemed to really significantly dampen. It actually caused a lot of losses of subs, and they're still struggling to get back to where they were before that, right? But also even before that, before they became acquisition, before that whole price increase last year, they weren't growing still at the pace that they thought that Game Pass was going to get to. And is it possible because the games took fucking long? Like 2022 was a massive dry spell. 2023 didn't start off well. It didn't really turn around towards the end of 2023, going into 2024. They started gaining a little bit of ground back, but that by that time they'd already lost a lot of momentum. They were having trouble keeping up with the amount of consoles to get out there into the market because of the um, way that the world is with components and price increase, like all these other kind of things. And they weren't able to grab as much of a foothold in the market share as they wanted to in the console space. I think that also limited the console growth more than they thought. I think they thought that they were going to get a lot more subscriptions into Game Pass from availability into other places like cloud and PC, and they were focused on trying to grow those markets. And when they realized those weren't growing enough, then I think they kind of had a panic and were like, well, we have all of these studios, we have all these things, and we're not bringing enough subscriptions in. We need to put our games more places so that way we can make more money, right? And I think that was kind of like the culmination of everything coming to a head, right? With the amount of spending into games that weren't really bringing back enough money for them, like games like the Double Fine games, South of Midnight and things like that, that were invested in heavily over years and years as meant to be like probably faster output type experiences to kind of fill Game Pass, but they took so long and so much investment that it's like they didn't really do what they were intended for. Instead, they ended up getting lost in a swath of other content last year. You can look at games like Avowed and Outer Worlds 2, kind of similar situations there. They got kind of lost in a shuffle of just way too many games last year. Doom even hit last year, and it didn't do as well as the last Doom did. That came out during the COVID time. So you had all these different things come to culmination. Even though these games were good to great, they still weren't really pushing the service as much as they would have if they came out like years prior. Um, and instead, they're kind of left in this situation now. And probably also part of it was the $30 price that they had ended up doing late last year. Um, and now they're left in this spot where it was like, okay, this didn't work. We need to transition and make a change. We're letting go of the decision making behind this last generation of these last years that led to all this growth in this spending, and we're going to bring somebody in that's going to ascertain what's wrong, what we need to do to fix it, and then make those changes. And I think that's where we're at now. Now, what future does Game Pass have? I don't know. I don't want it to go away because I really appreciate it as a consumer, as a gamer. I value it, right? But I do think there is some extent here that they don't necessarily have the same level investment into it, and I don't know what that necessarily even means. Like what level would they meet, and what would the changes be to that? Because I think their focus is going to be driving people to the platform again, because I think they need to grow the platform and in order to have the people there to subscribe to the service. I think their mindset was like have such a good deal and value that was going to be driving people to the service, but it wasn't exciting. The whole kumbaya feeling wasn't good marketing. It wasn't good PR for them to draw people in. You can't just be there and expect people to show up. You got to have reasons to make them want this shit. You know, you got to drive people to the platform, and then you can have them there. And that's what PlayStation did. They drove people to the platform, and now they're sitting on the top of that mountain and be like, "Hey, we get to fuck you all, yay!" And like, but Xbox needed to learn how to change that kumbaya, be where everybody plays. When everybody plays, we all win mentality. That even in my heart, I know it's like the right thing, and I think it should be a good message, but it doesn't sell. You know, I think it doesn't sell well to the average consumer that just wants to get excited about something. And you got to have those things that get people excited for something to draw them in. And I think that's a core key change now between Phil philosophy and Asha Sharma philosophy. Let's see. I missed some chat. Let's see. I need to read that. I'll look it up. Nate Doc says, and about your previous point, Mav, you heard Nishinu say they're still chasing live service long after Ryan was gone. They would have found someone to chase live service whether Ryan was there or not. The difference with Ryan's approach, though, bro, was he went all in all at once. That was major mismanagement. I'm not saying they don't need to have live service games, but you don't take all of your studios and say everybody's doing this one thing now. And well, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's what they did. That was it. You could look at the different decisions between the different companies, and we can say your decision making was bad, and then it led to these outcomes, right? So we can be critical of Phil and Sarah and say, hey, while it was working for a while, at some point this caught up with you, and it was a culmination of decisions that were made, and it led to this outcome where we are now, and they're changing directions. The same thing happened at PlayStation. They made decisions. They went too far on investment into one thing. It didn't work out for them. It led to the outcomes that they did. But they still need to have some live service games? I think so. It's just funny seeing them talk about it now again, saying they need it after their last messaging again. Internally, PlayStation always has different um, messaging between each other and their shareholders and stuff than they do the fans. PlayStation always markets one thing to the fans, but then to the shareholders, they always say something else. And if you pay attention to their like briefings or like their financial discussions with shareholders and stuff, they talk about this, you know, very, businessy aspect mindset, and you realize what they're doing, but that's not the message they put out to their fans because their fans aren't paying attention to that shit unless you're Mike and you care about your 6%, right? But the fans don't care about that shit. They just want to know like, "Hey, I'm the best gamer because I play on the best place and I have the best games." That's what they want to be sold. So PlayStation is just feeding them this shit and constantly has been for a very long time while doing their business decisions on the back end. Xbox is similar. They've been making business decisions along the way, but their messaging about what they're doing has been more about like, hey, this is what we're doing, and they've actually been doing that. And so the games industry and the media don't get fed a bunch of bullshit. They just run with that and criticize it, where they ignore the realities of what was happening at PlayStation because it wasn't being told to them by the companies. And I really feel like the games media is like got to be really some of the most fucking ignorant people out there to not be able to just see the business aspect of the decisions that they're making and what they're actually doing and announcing, as opposed to what they feed the PR and the media and the gamers, right? Two different realities there with PlayStation. Xbox has been more unified in that sense. However, shit still hit the fan here, right? Shit still hit the fan with Xbox now. They have they have made the decision when they decided to change leadership that this old way wasn't going to work anymore. That they have to cut the bleeding, they have to stop it at some point, and time is now. They brought in Asha. She's been doing her 100-day assessment period, and then now it's the 100-day reset period, and the biggest hammer fell just now with more to come, right? And that's just the reality that they're in. But it's not much different than what PlayStation reality was, and that's what I've been talking about. That's what I've been calling out about the chasing business models, ideas, and trying to do different things as a business to try and succeed, and it not working, and there's casualties because of it, right? Whereas one company is treated as the devil, the other one usually gets free passes. Let's see here. I'm gonna look up that Idle Sloth post and see what Matt Piscatella has to say. Do, 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 do. Okay, Matt Piscatella's view on Bloomberg article. Great reporting as always. If the goal is to sell subscriptions, you do exactly what Xbox did with Game Pass. Problem is, outside of the enthusiast core, few cared. The mass market didn't want to play lots of different games. It wanted to play Fortnite, Minecraft, and Roblox. Problem with Game Pass wasn't the service itself, but rather I do have a problem with people talking about Game Pass like in the past tense, right? Or like this is like it's over. Like we don't know what the future of Game Pass is right now. And yes, we can look at as their go-to only like kind of driving this as the main business point. It didn't work out how they wanted. I could also make some arguments that they didn't ever market it properly or really sell it well enough. I think they did a horrible job with marketing Game Pass. You could go down the game store and talk to a bunch of PlayStation guys there, and none of them are actually fucking knew that what Game Pass was, or that they gave games day and date in Game Pass, or what games are in there. They always like, oh, it's just like FOD. It's just like bullshit games that filled in a shitty service. Like they just were ill informed, right? Because of the way that it was represented with the media and stuff like that. So it was Xbox's job to overcome that and market it properly. I think they failed to spread the message. properly about what Game Pass really was. Um, but there I go doing it in the fucking past tense, like they really is. But it's a service that I've talked a lot about because I'm a gamer, and the value it presents to me is fucking insane. Like Pong said numerous times, he's gonna ride that fucking train till the wheels fall off. Me too. I'm gonna keep subscribing and playing my games through that shit until the wheels fucking fall off of it, man, because it's fucking a good deal. I'm not gonna be shamed for taking advantage of a fucking good deal presented to me as a consumer. Um, the problem with Game Pass wasn't the service itself, but rather the goal of selling subs and services, as Microsoft was aiming for across its business at the time. Call of Duty launched on Game Pass and did not significantly boost subs and had little impact on hardware, and that was that. Um, Black Ops 6 boosted subs, but not as extensively as they thought it would, probably. Black Ops 7 didn't. Black Ops 7 caused the opposite because they raised the price. And they also failed to put all the past Call of Duties in there. Like, if they would have made, after they got ABK, if they would have made announcements like, hey, this batch of Call of Duty games is in there today. And then shortly after that, like 2 weeks later, this batch of Call of Duties is in there. That's what we all thought was going to happen. They never fucking did that. Instead, it was like very slow. Very slow. Occasionally, you'd have one drop in. Like Vanguard literally just came into Game Pass finally, right? And like they didn't push Call of Duty in the service and market it as the Game Pass driver as they could have. Call of Duty launched on Game Pass and did not significantly boost subs and had little impact on hardware, and that was that. Anyways, quibble I have is with the 300 million number for lost COD sales. Best I can tell, this is piracy math. But anyone that played via Game Pass was a lost sale, which isn't true. 100% I agree with Matt there. Just as every pirated copy is not a lost sale and does not take into account sub revenues, but whatever, minor quibble. Yeah, people always say that, sales, blah, blah, blah. But if you're paying for a service, you're still giving them money, right? And also, if you do have a service, you could be buying the extra content, you could be buying the like early edition upgrade, you could be buying into lots of different things as well as your subscription service price. So there's definitely not necessarily a one for one trade off of a lost sale versus what the dollar amount they got from a subscriber. It's not like, oh, we would have gotten $70, but now we're getting nothing. And that's a hard metric for them to measure because it's really hard and measurable in a lot of different ways. Also, how much people grew into the were drawn into the service just because of the news of this and all that. And that's the part that I think they really failed at. Anyways, Game Pass failed because of Fortnite and other black hole games, and the mass market just not caring about playing lots of different games. We have seen the whole metrics of the market changing as well with the attention span and even gamers buying different kinds of games in general. I mean, the numbers also for game sales across the board, unless it's a hit, unless it's a massive hit, the average games like of hey, you have some big games coming out a year, and they used to like pretty much all do pretty damn well if they were the big heavily marketed games. Now it's like most of them aren't reaching the levels they used to, and then they end up like having one or two of these games be like a massive surprise hit. Like you have like your Kingdom Come Deliverance 2s, right? Versus your Doom the Dark Ages. Like I would bet on PlayStation Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 sold more than Doom the Dark Ages when you would have never have guessed that a few years ago. And it's just the reality of the way gaming has been changing. Um you have things go viral kind of, and that's the marketing aspect behind it. Oh yeah, second anyways. If even if Game Pass is killed tomorrow, it doesn't mean we'll see sales of the involved games spike. A boost, sure, but the negative impact of Game Pass on game sales is highly overstated based on the data I've seen. But whatever. Yeah, I agree that the impact of that to the industry has been massively overstated. I mean, it's been a service, that we subscribe to, choose to, or not, and they get our money either way. That's like saying that a subscription service for gaming just can't operate with big games, and I don't believe that. In fact, I actually believe it's been a pro-consumer thing because it's allowing more options for us to access our games. I think the $30 price hike did bite them in the ass though, because it's just like when you reach certain numbers, and no matter how much of a value it represents, okay, no matter how much of a value it represents, $30, everything you're getting for that $30 is a fucking steal. It's insane, right? However, every time you raise the price of something, you're losing potential customers. And I think when you hit a certain price hold of like $30, it's like for some people, it's like at that point, I'm not willing to pay $30 for a subscription, and they're going to be more picky and choosy about the games they're going to buy, and that's more of a decision that that person's making. Does that mean that Xboxes lose as out on money? Well, they lose out on definite recurring revenue, but maybe they picked up a little bit on game sales. It's hard to measure, right? But what we do know is that content and services around that time were down. Now, I would also argue that they need to look at when you have a record breaking Call of Duty like Black Ops 6 and one of the most popular franchises ever, and that game's breaking your fucking records of players. Then when you have the next year and you have one of the more hated Call of Duties come out, there's going to be a massive discrepancy in change. Should everything fall onto everything else in your studios and pipelines, or should you kind of have a more long-term mindset about, well, the next Call of Duty that comes out and it hits, everything's going to be back up again, right? Especially if the price is relegated back down into Game Pass. So wrong decision, I think, to do the $30. Um, they could have maybe met at a different price. However, if they wanted to keep Call of Duty out of it too, they should have just said that from the get go and kept it out. But they're making on the fly decisions here. Now the key difference here is this isn't like Phil and Sarah flip flopping right now. This is a different leadership, you know. So we can only really judge Asha Sharma on the moves she's making going forward based on the Xbox that she builds. So if Xbox, if this is her direction, she's coming in, she's made her 100 days of assessment. Then she does 100 days of reset, right? We already know what the reset's involving now, and what more it will encompass some more layoffs that we don't aren't clear on what exactly they're going to be, and maybe they're still kind of making some of those decisions, right? But they're shaping Xbox into something different than it was before. Xbox is changing very fast, very rapidly. They are not going to waste time. That she's made her decisions on what she thinks is the right future for Xbox, and we don't know exactly how that's going to look. I'll be the first to say I don't know. I have hope, right? I don't know what's going to happen. That everything that she does could fail. Everything that she does could transform Xbox and succeed. But I'm not going to act like they're any different from trying to operate a business to become as good as they possibly can be than anybody else, right? And that's where she's a little bit more going to be cold and calculated and aggressive. Phil had a big heart for gamers and games, and a lot of the developers loved him for that. He was a gamer at heart. He was kind of had love for the development aspect at heart. He'd been at Xbox for or at Microsoft for over 20 something years, and been with the Xbox team from like the pretty much the beginning. And he wanted this vision to work, right? And it was a very positive kumbaya feeling, something for everybody. We have all different kinds of games. We're letting the developers create their art. We're having subscription services out there to give access to gamers, and we're gonna have lot. We're gonna invest heavily. We're gonna build up our studio, and without him, also Xbox probably wouldn't even be here. So he built this massive amount of things that Xbox has, and now Asha was given all of this on a plate. It's like a platter, like from a buffet of all these things, like Bill's been doing and all this stuff, and she's got to figure out how to turn this treasure trove of things that she has at her disposal into something that's more streamlined and going to be stronger for the business going forward. And that's what this reset's about. And it can be cold, hard, and calculated and shitty. But at the end, will it be stronger? We'll see. We'll see. We got to see what the studios produce, what they achieve. I think she ain't going to be as forgiving. And we can look at it as a negative or a positive. Because that's been one of the bigger detriments, I think, with the studios at Xbox is like they've been having so much free will that it's kind of like less seems like less pressure to get something out that's focused on what the gamers are asking for, but also like at a good pace. And so she's trying to fix the problems with the pacing too, like how the systems all work and you know? Like I don't like look at what the decisions she's making and be like, you can't do that. I mean, I honestly look at it as like, what decisions would I make? I think we all have to try and put ourselves in that situation. All right, you're given the reins of this company, and you're trying to figure out how to make them the most successful. What decisions would you do? And that's how you can try and understand the thinking behind it, right? And it's fine to think that way. Just don't always do it with one fucking company and not the other. I don't blame PlayStation for trying to be competitive and trying to do the things that are best for their business and to understand their business decisions. But I can call them out when I think things are wrong. Same thing I can with Xbox. Fact is, Xbox has been way more pro consumer to me over the last fucking 10 years. Hopefully, they don't completely turn into PlayStation. I don't want that because I don't feel like they're giving as much value to their consumers, right? But if that's what is going to be dictated from all this, then that sucks. But it's hard to blame Xbox for going in certain directions when they tried to do the opposite and the entire industry and games media and gamers rallied against them. They're giving us too much. Can't work. It's unsustainable. Can't do this. Hurting the industry. You're giving gamers too much. Whenever, like, whose side were they fucking on? Sursa Swiss just won. Nice. Does changes better benefit me as a game? That's what we can hope for, man. In one way or another, that's what we have to hope for, right? Not that their stocks went up 6 fucking %. Not that their stocks went up 6%. We want them to be successful so that way they can still deliver shit to us and it just work out for everybody. You know what I mean? The perfect the perfect thing is like if they're running a great efficient business, it works for them and it works for us. You know what I mean? That's awesome. Yeah, that's what we could hope for. That's what I was hoping to that's what I was trying to champion with Xbox this whole fucking time. When the whole industry's trying to against them. It was working for us as gamers. Like we were getting some more games, fucking more access, more options, subscription services that were superior, like more benefits as a customer, like better hardware. We were getting everything with at Xbox, but the whole fucking industry is like against them. It's just crazy, man. Assassin's Creed Black Flag was the last physical game you bought on Xbox One. What's the last physical game you guys bought on PlayStation? Be nice as my gaming experience has been peak. Not everything is for me, but there was plenty for me. Yeah, there's been so many awesome games this generation, guys. People call this like a disaster generation. I think for the industry, like as a whole, for the cost, like cost wise, time wise, to get games out, this generation has been crazy, right? However, for gamers, we have more fucking games and we know what to do with. We're up to our fucking knees in games, guys. Like there's not enough time to play all this shit that we want to play. So from a gamer perspective, like we're eating so fucking good. We got shit like call it like fucking Game Pass, like where we can have all these damn games. Like we're about to get Halo, Gears, um Plague Tale game. Like we're getting so many different games in Game Pass day and date. Stranger Than Heaven's going day and date. Like we're getting these are just like, hey, they're gonna be there for me, you know. Ven says Tales of Arise is your last one. 11 North says God of War Ascension was your last one. Truth Serum says Mafia Old Country. My last Xbox physical game that I bought was NBA 2K22, the one that had Dirk on the cover because I wanted to get the one that had Dirk. I'm a huge Mavs fan, and it was just amazing to see Dirk finally on the cover of a game. So I got it just for that reason. I still have it sitting up in the game room, just on the wall. So that's why I bought that. Besides that, I think I had gotten Final Fantasy 16 physical for PlayStation because I had a credit at GameStop and you couldn't get digital codes for their games there. So I used it to get the physical edition of Final Fantasy 16. That's another problem with the whole PlayStation digital shit is like they don't allow these resellers to like sell their codes. Oops. Oh, I agree, Dragonfly. I mean, fuck. I mean, Play Anywhere is insane. Literally, if you buy a game, you get it on fucking console and PC. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody else is doing that. You get the game on console, PC, or you can play it in the cloud, or you get if you subscribe to this subscription service, you get the same benefit. You know, you get cloud saves for free. Um, they have free updates on the games. You know, you've had like stuff like FPS boost and the whole backward compatibility program is a lot better. I mean, you could just go down a huge list of things that are more pro consumer than competitors, right? but they get ignored. Dova says, "I wonder if Asha will do away with Play Anywhere." I've been wondering if it's like how aggressive, because like if her idea is to be more competitive with exclusive content, does she end up taking that same position towards PC gaming and and not put games on Steam anymore? Because if they finally are able really to push the Xbox app onto PC gamers, then like the gamers are going to buy them on Steam, right? For the most part. So the only way to really drive people to use the Xbox app is with exclusive content. Like you get people like me to use the Xbox app because of Xbox Play Anywhere, right? Like I would rather do that, and I already have a big library of games to take advantage of that. So for people like me, but your average PC gamer is a Steam head. Your average PC gamer's got like a over 1,000 games on Steam, and that's just where their library is, and they ain't moving away from it. If the game launches there, that's where they're buying it, right? Now, what games would get them to use the Xbox app, right? That's the question. Like, if you're trying to actually drive people to your store and install your app and start being aware of your storefront more and all that shit, do you get aggressive in that sense? Or do you just say, fuck it, Steam's got the whole lock on this thing and we ain't going to be able to compete, right? You can have one or two mentalities. You could have the same mentality with the console space. But at that point, if you're giving up on PC and you're giving up on console, you're just going to be, you know, as lowest denominator next or high powered console like platform out there. And you're never going to be number one when it comes to that sense. Like that's the kind of competition she's trying to bring back, you know? So if she's trying to bring back that competition in the console space, why not do it in the PC space? Cody Ray says the Xbox app and GOG are my most used on PC. Yeah, I'm just curious how it's going to work out. Like, it would be, I am curious. It's not like Steam's going to let you play your fucking, like, Xbox. I mean, you can side load it or whatever, or you can, like, load Windows on a Steam machine, but, like, it's running Linux, and they're not going to just automatically give you all your Xbox games and your library on Steam, through the Xbox app. Like, they're going to want you to use Steam on a Steam machine. So, why not have the same energy? Just got off work, Psycho? Right on, dude. Hopefully you had a good day, bro. We revealed the leaked PS6 concept for the console. We had that. We talked about the narratives and the bullshit, the hypocrisy. Talk about that. PlayStation gamers are still really pissed off right now at PlayStation, and they are not letting them get away with being silent for 5 days and thinking they were just gonna crawl out from under their rock after Xbox's announcements of their layoffs and think that everything was gonna be great. Um, the PlayStation gamers are actually finally standing up for something, which is great to see. You know, the wool has no longer been pulled over their eyes. They're becoming aware. So that's awesome. Um, got into debates with Mike H in the chat because he was pissed that I was talking about PlayStation the day after Xbox layoffs, even though I had a 2.5 hour stream where I talked about Xbox layoffs yesterday and also have done quite a bit today. Legion looks dope on Series X. You love it. Right on, dude. What's up, Lewis? PlayStation 3 was better than PS5. Is the truth. I think the PS3 had more like they were trying to do more different things with games that I appreciated. Like the system was outrageously expensive at launch, but like at least like they were trying to do like all these different genres and they were all these different kinds of cool things with games and it seemed like they lost their way there with the PS4 in that sense where they kind of became one thing. They're diversifying again but failing in the attempts to do so in some ways and it's cost a lot of development pipeline issues at PlayStation. We'll see if they get back to the diversity that we loved more from them back then. That's what I'm hoping for. And you can do it without reliance on so much reliance on second and third party games. Cody Ray says, I don't think Sony really cares what happens on social media. If they lost like half of their following, if like everybody unfollowed PlayStation, that would have them pay attention, really have a big impact. Because they would see that as legitimate brand damage when their brand becomes smaller on social media. They would actually really pay. You don't even have to vote for your wallet. If everybody unfollowed them and they had like went from like I think they have like 40 something million followers on Twitter. If they went down from like 40 something million followers in all their different places or whatever down to like 1 million or some shit, that would be like, oh fuck. We have really lessened our reach to people, you know? But part of marketing is being able to spread your message. Imagine if everybody unsubscribed from their YouTube channel, everybody unsubscribed from the PlayStation Twitter, their like Instagram, Facebook, or wherever they are, right? They had a mass exodus of unfollowings and they just had a little. That would be a massive deal for any company. That's a big brand. That would actually make them pay attention. What their response would be interesting. I don't know. That's the kind of shit that like Steam users do, like and PC gamers do. Like if a game or company does something bad, they'll like mass leave bad reviews or like unwish list games and stuff in masses, and then the companies change course or they fix things, and then they change the reviews, and then they wish list the games that for ones that hadn't come out yet and stuff again, and it make like they really vote with the power of like um visibility and image, right? They really vote with that to get the changes that they want. It works. So we'll see. I mean, if every post they make the rest of this year and the next year, you still get the same response from massive people being pissed about physical, at some point they're going to have to address it, you know. But we'll see how important it is to them for their business decisions. They are definitely leading the way with this, and it's going to have a massive impact on the industry. Console gaming not having the physical games to be like that um consumer option when you limit it only to one thing and only one storefront in one place, you're really I mean that's like Apple energy, you know. Yeah, Psycho. We talked a little bit about that, like how could they handle it with Helix and stuff, and it's be interesting to see what they do. Psycho, did you see the PS6 uh prototype concept? And shout out to Shane also for pointing me towards, or who was it that was pointing me towards the Matt Piscatella stuff? I think it was Shane. Um, because yeah, it's like he is a numbers. He's like an analyst guy, analytics, reports on sales data and all that kind of stuff. So his take on Game Pass is really similar to me. All right, so I'm gonna show you Psycho. This was sent to me. This it was the same sources that sends me the showcase list. Yeah, Dova. I don't know if you guys. So this was leaked, and they figured out, as I said before, what the gamers on PlayStation really want or what they care about. So they replaced the disk drive with a dick drive. It's got little details on it. This is the pre-order bonus on the left with the disposable bags and the cleaning kit. Um, you might actually, Psycho, you'd probably really be interested in this. You might be getting it pre-order and get it at day one. Maybe you'll get plenty of extras over there at GameStop. PS6 prototype integrated. I don't know if I can say that word on stream with haptic sync technology. Pretty strong, apparently. You got the most of this is a safety feature. Apparently, it's got the eject button right here. Um, got your power mode, and apparently there's 5 different. If you keep hitting power mode, there's 5 different options, 5 different settings it goes through. Right now they only have the one-player version, but they might have a two player. And they're working on add-on for their female gamers. So yeah, that's it. I know you'd appreciate this, Psycho, so I wanted to make sure you saw it. Yeah, Doom DLC is great, Shane says. Yeah, I need to play it. I've been actually playing Lord of Hatred on Diablo the last couple days, really enjoying it. So I'm behind on some of this shit. Eventually I'll get into the Doom DLC. I still have a few levels left in Doom that I haven't beat yet also for the main game, so I need to beat that first. It's kind of one of those games I like pick it up every once in a while and I'll play through like a level, you know? It's funny. All right, guys. Why does it look like a pumping machine? I don't know. I don't know. Well, chat, you guys rock. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you hanging out with me on the stream. It was fun chatting. It's interesting watching the hate right now towards PlayStation the day after the Xbox layoffs. It's absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. They thought it was going to work out for them. It didn't work out. They thought it was going to be the time to wait. To wait 5 days. Xbox makes their announcement. Come out there. We'll be back. No, didn't work out. But you all have a good one. Thanks for watching today. And we'll be back probably on, unless something crazy happens, probably on Thursday for FSP. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time. Have a good one, everybody.